Hey, how's it going, everybody? Drew Creal here. And today I wanted to talk about my new guitar. Towards the end of last year, December 2019, I wanted to get a new 8-string, and so what I did was I put up a Facebook post and just kind of asked my friends whether they played guitar or not. I was like, which new guitar should I get? And I got a lot of interesting responses. It's always interesting to see what guitar players and non-guitar players see in instruments, and it was just a really fun thing to do because I was gonna buy a new guitar anyway, so I figured I would ask my friends. And this was actually the one that I was leaning towards anyway. I was probably gonna buy it. I was kind of in between that and this black Ibanez Prestige guitar, which was really nice, but I didn't want just another black guitar. I don't know, there's something about just they're just kind of get boring and old after a while. So I ended up getting this guitar. I really loved the paint job on it. As you can see, it's iridescent, and it looks purple in one light and then it looks turquoise in another, and that paint job is done on the whole guitar. And so overwhelmingly people chose this guitar, and I just thought it was fun, man. It was cool to do that and just see what people thought of these 8-string guitars. I've never owned a Schecter before. I had friends that own them, and I was always really impressed with the necks that they make on these guitars, and then just the fretwork. The fretwork is, to me, on Schecter is just impeccable. So all of that stuff really impressed me. This guitar is no exception to that. Just a beautiful instrument. And so I just wanted to go through just some things that I like about it. On the back of the neck, they have a satin finish instead of the high gloss, which is great if you're on stage a lot. Many of you will know that when you're about to get on stage, your hands will be very sweaty. And if you have a gloss guitar, a lot of the time that it can just make your guitar just feel weird, and sometimes even it can interfere with your playing too. And having a guitar with that kind of a neck on the back is just really cool. I really like the pickups. I'm a huge EMG fan, that they provide a more balanced string to string experience. So with the low strings, I just think the pickups do a really good job of bringing a lot of clarity to the playing experience, whether you're playing clean or dirty. A lot of people say that EMGs sound really sterile and unexciting, and they like the character of the passive pickups, but in my experience with passive pickups, a lot of the time from string to string, one string might be a little bit louder, a certain note might not come out as clear. I don't notice that with EMG. I feel like every note is pronounced really well. A neck pickup volume, and then a bridge pickup volume, and then you've got the tone knob right here, and it's just a 3-way switch. Okay, I'm not familiar with that at all as a guitar player. To me, that was really odd. What I would have preferred was just a 5-way switch with one volume and one tone. That way you could split the coils, but I have kind of played around with balancing, like the pickup. So if I want a little bit of bridge pickup in there, if I'm in the middle position, for example, and I'm playing out of the neck, I can kind of blend in the bridge. That's really cool. It's like a Gibson kind of a thing. I don't typically mess with that. Most of the time it's either neck or bridge for me, but it is nice to have that middle option. But just in general, if you're gonna make a $1,000 guitar, just put a 5-way switch and give the user more options. That's just my take on that. Of course, that's not for everybody. Right here on the back, we've got locking tuners. It's a really great feature, especially when you have a guitar that has 8 strings on it. Having the locking tuner just makes the string change experience just a lot faster. The strings do not come out of there. I've never experienced any kind of slippage on these tuners, or really any locking tuner. I've got some hip shot locking tuners. I've got some Spertzel locking tuners on the Carvin, and all of those tuners, including these Schecters, are fantastic. One thing that's cool about these is they have they have more to grab onto when you're trying to tighten up the string into the hole there. there's more to hold on to. On my Spertel tuners, for example, it's like a really kind of pointy disc that you have to really grab onto tightly, and so it's not as nice to tune up with that. The hip shots are a little bit better, but again, it's a little thin disc that you have to. It's like pretend like you're holding a quarter and you got to squeeze that quarter really hard and lock the string in place. Not the case with this guitar. There's a nice thick thing that you can grab onto and turn, so that's really great. Yeah, so a couple other things. Hip shot bridge, really heavy duty, nice hip shot bridge, really like that. Pretty sure it's a hip shot. It looks exactly like my other 8-string that has the same hip shot bridge, so I'm 99% sure that's a hip shot. It could be like a Schecter make, but I'm pretty sure it's not. So you got the battery compartment back here. Another really cool thing about this guitar is the carbon fiber binding going around the guitar. I don't know if you can see that. I'll hold the guitar like this, but you can see around the whole instrument, even on the neck and then on the headstock, there's carbon fiber binding. And I just think that looks really cool. It looks really modern, and it's just a cool look. Also, they have glow in the dark fret dots, or some folks call it lumen lay. I don't care for that necessarily. I'd almost prefer to have like just a normal dot so that I can see. These glow in the dark fret dots don't glow for very long, in my experience. But I haven't really played this guitar on a dark stage enough to experience that. But I know that there's other companies that make lumen lay, and they have, I guess there's better quality lumen lay out there. But this guitar doesn't seem to have the really nice quality lumen lay. Sorry, but they just don't. Another thing I really liked about this guitar was just the fact that the fretboard looks really clean and beautiful, and it doesn't have the traditional fret dots. It has them kind of offset like that. That's really cool. The 12th fret just has this simple little kind of Celtic looking thing here. I think that looks great. Looks really clean. And a big factor in my decision with this guitar is that it didn't really look gaudy like some of the Schecters do. Like some of the other Hellraiser guitars that are just filled with abalone and quilted red top. They have like a giant fret marker, like a giant inlay, which inlays are cool, man, but if you just fill the guitar fretboard up with inlays, to me it just gets a little obnoxious, and I just liked how clean and simple this guitar looked, and that actually went into my decision, and I like that. I like functional instruments, but this paint job is unbelievable. This is the Schecter C-8 Hellraiser Hybrid. Thanks for watching, and I hope you enjoyed the video.